It's just gone 8 o'clock Central African time. Good evening and welcome to the news bulletin at 8, brought to you by Eswatini TV. My name is Sanebo Ngwan alongside Nomakabiso Ngambule. Thank you so much for choosing to stay with us. We're coming to you live from our Hospital Hill studios in Mbabane. These are your top stories tonight. His Majesty King Eswatini III has implored the regiments to be rooted in respect at all times. The acting Prime Minister has received a special message for His Majesty King Eswatini III from DRC President Felix Tshisekedi, and the Copyright Act of 2020 will be operationalized soon. And now the news in detail. His Majesty King Eswatini III has implored regiments to be rooted in respect at all times. The King says respect should not depart from the hearts of regiments. His Majesty was speaking when he dispersed the regiments from the Eswatini region through Induna, Komendanyeni, Makakula.
Last week, His Majesty King Eswatini III dispersed regiments at Ngabezweni Royal Residence, where the King instructed them to be at the forefront of the fight against COVID-19. His Majesty the King has now dispersed regiments from the Eswatini region here at Mbangweni Royal Residence. The regiments converged at the royal residence to be dispersed by His Majesty King Eswatini III through Induna, Komendanyeni, Makakula, following the completion of the harvesting of royal fields in the Eswatini region. The regiments took to the arena located just outside the royal residence and took part in colorful song and dance. The proceedings were conducted under strict COVID-19 safety protocols. His Majesty commended the regiments for undertaking the harvesting activity with dedication and respect. His Majesty encouraged them to be faithful flag bearers of Eswatini's fight against COVID-19. The King reminded the regiments and the nation at large about the importance of respect and respecting structures.
Majaha, ingonyama. Ibonga kakhulu infisela indlela lenhle indlela lenhle majaha inhlonipho nanihamba nendleleni noma nifike emakhaya inhlonipho yinzala kufuna kufundziswane ngenhlonipho inhlonipho isuka ekhaya kumdali wakho ihambi emangweni ihambi esikhulwini umhambo ke majaha wesingathi tsina utsina mhla ngemambo kude chifu kunesikhulu namhla sendihlanganisa tonke letinto sikhulu kwasiye chifu sikhulu umntwana enkosi ngumntwana enkosi lobu umango emajaha kangwane etenkosini kunetinduna tinduna bafana benkosi ndatsatsa iorder etinduneni ningangenwa ngumoya yokuhamba utshelwa ngumuntu uzohamba weweta nje we utafula lakho la kumele ukhulume khona. Majaha lokumqoka ingonyama yashumayela nkulumo yakho na ulijaha noma uliswati wani uyayilungiselela inhlonipho yayo uyihloniphise ulandzele tonke letingoni lekufanele na uyihloniphise ulijaha kwesibili ubuke kuthi lela uyifaka khona le nkulumo itayithola inindzawo inhlonipho hloniphisa inkulumo yakho uqele ngendlela lefanele ufake inkulumo yakho ngesiswati ngendlela lefanele utawuphila ube lijaha ngakho ke majaha ingwenyama ithi ingwenyama iniphala iqembe lenamba nelesile ninona niqobetele nivimbele lomkhuhlane awuyeda nawunonile uyawuvimbetela lomkhuhlane nawuphilile ulandzela umthetho wetempilo ungahambi nje uthi uhuka lapha nalapha nalapha ufake isifonyo.
The ceremony will now proceed to the remaining regions, which is Lubombo and Woho. The regiments have been told that they are expected to maintain strict adherence to COVID-19 safety precautions. On the news, I am Sandile Makanya reporting with Themba Mamba at Mbangweni Royal Residence in the Shiselweni region.
The acting Prime Minister Themba Masuku has received his counterpart from the Democratic Republic of Congo, Jean-Michel Lukonde. The latter arrived in the kingdom through the King Mswati III International Airport to deliver a special message from his President Felix Tshisekedi to His Majesty King Mswati III. Our reporter Linton Gule has more on that story.
The Democratic Republic of Congo, His Excellency Jean-Michel Lusange arrived at the King Mswati III International Airport around 3 in the afternoon. He was received by the acting Prime Minister, Senator Themba Masuku, alongside the Minister for Foreign Affairs, Thulsile Dada. The Prime Minister explained the essence of his counterpart's visit to the Kingdom of Eswatini.
We hope your travel has been very safe. We'll present the special message to His Majesty this evening.
We came and with a message from the President of the Democratic Republic of Congo, His Excellency Mr. Felix Antoine Tshisekedi, and he sent an official letter containing a message to His Majesty Mswati III, and it's an honor for me to come and deliver it through you, the document that was sent to His Majesty.
After receiving the message, the acting Prime Minister, Senator Themba Masuku, conveyed his condolences on behalf of His Majesty King Mswati III, the Queen Mother, the Ndlovukazi, the government of the Kingdom of Eswatini, and the entire Eswatini nation for the volcano that erupted in that country last month, where around 400 people were displaced.
The volcano is one of those very frightful, and it's coming at a time when we are also experiencing in the whole world the issue of COVID-19. Wish you the best going forward.
The Prime Minister of the DRC explained to the Prime Minister that indeed they were really affected by the volcano. Fortunately, the government, alongside UN agencies and other partners, they are trying to normalize the situation so that those who lost their homes can be given alternative shelter for the time being.
And it's even more difficult because we had to ask about 400 people to get out of their home and go to safer places, but now the situation is getting better.
His Excellency, the Prime Minister of the DRC is going to the Republic of Zimbabwe and also is expected to deliver a similar message to the President of the Republic of Malawi and also the Republic of Tanzania. For Eswatini TV News, I'm Linton Kule with Vusim Pamali, KM3.
The Minister of Tourism and Environmental Affairs, Moses Vilagati, says Eswatini will host a cultural exchange for all African countries next year. Minister Vilagati said this when welcoming in the country the African Tourism Board chairperson Katipeth Ngube. Eswatini TV's Fortune Takamanda reports.
The Minister of Tourism and Environmental Affairs, Moses Vilagati, says with the tourism and agriculture sectors, government hopes to resuscitate the country's economy. The minister said this when welcoming in the country the chairperson of the Tourism African Board, Katipeth Ngube, at the Hilton Garden Inn Hotel. Vilagati expresses his happiness that the country has been elected by African countries to host a cultural exchange event for African countries.
Almost on a monthly basis or weekly basis, they now meet and are discussing how they will make sure that Eswatini enjoys the cultures of Africa. We're trying now to merge most of our wildlife parks so that if a tourist comes in there, he will now be able to see all the animals at a go. We have about 4 or 5 of those facilities in the eastern part of the country, and once they are merged, we will be talking of about over 100,000, close to 100,000 hectares.
African Tourism Board chairperson Katipeth Ngube applauds the Minister of Tourism and Environmental Affairs, Moses Vilagati, for a role he is playing in promoting tourism in Eswatini and Africa as a whole.
We have played a very pivotal role, a very critical role, not only for Eswatini, but for the whole of the African continent. We are so proud to be associated to this great nation of Eswatini Kingdom. As African Tourism Board, our mandate and our advocacy is to make sure that we align and start appreciating Africa as the tourist destination of choice. We have said we need to rebrand our continent. If there was a time where we need to rewrite,
Eswatini Tourism Authority Chief Executive Officer Linda Nxumalo says the African Union has taken a decision to open African tourism offices in the country. She says the country will benefit a lot from this initiative. For Eswatini TV News, Fortune Dlangamandla, Mbabane.
The Ministry of Commerce, Industry and Trade and the Ministry of Sports, Culture and Youth Affairs have met the arts industry representatives to provide updates on the progress made in the implementation and also to operationalize the Copyright Act of 2020.
The meeting was led by Ministers Mangcoba Khumalo and Harris Bulunga and served as an opportunity for government to provide updates to the arts industry on concrete steps that have been taken to operationalize the Copyright Act. Amongst the updates provided, the ministries announced that government has been able to fill up critical posts that will help in driving the operationalization of the Act within the commerce industry. The ministries also announced that draft regulations to the Act have been completed and will be shared with the relevant stakeholders before the end of June 2021. Minister Mangcoba Khumalo says they are pleased to have met these important stakeholders and they have assured them that they have prioritized this matter and they are already moving to ensure that the law can be operationalized as soon as possible. He says even though there have been challenges in the past, this issue is now a high priority item for Cabinet itself, and they hope that they will be able to set up the necessary structures very soon to allow for the Act to become operational. Minister Bulunga said it is critical for them that artists begin to reap the full economic benefits of their work, and they are pleased with the progress that has been made so far, working with the Ministries of Commerce and ICT. Reporting, I'm Lungilela Makakula in Babane.
The Public Accounts Committee has questioned on what is being done about accountants who are inefficient in their work. This follows unauthorized expenditure and misclassification of funds in the Ministry of Foreign Affairs and International Cooperation, which was noted by the Auditor General. The ministry had appeared before the PAC on Wednesday.
Unauthorized expenditure as well as misclassification of funds was a thorny issue during the Public Accounts Committee sitting on Wednesday. Appearing before the committee was the Minister of Foreign Affairs and International Cooperation. The Committee questioned what is being done to accountants who are seemingly inefficient in their work.
So I think maybe umuntu longenza umsebenzi wakhe mhlambe nimbuyisele training, abe more vigilant and abe more responsible.
But it appears Ematiko still do not have indlela ye-performance management system in the form of performance appraisals. Sithena sifika la sakhala ngaleyo system. I-public service yasithembisa ukuthi iku-pipeline. And without lama instruments la njengaleyo, it is very, very difficult ukuthi bantu bakhone kumonitoreka nokuthi babe held responsible for ema mistakes labawendayo.
Vumile Dlamini, who was representing controlling officer in the ministry, Melusi Masuku, said they are working on the matter.
Ema records akamane agcineke ngendlela yakhona. Njengoba waveta unalabo inward book, invoice register, stores ledger lokuthi phela tilandeleke ledingo zabalethi nalama stores regulations. Kwethu ungathi sawuqhubeka chesi monitor enzabale nekusho ukuthi kulesikhathi esikwendile lo siyatibona ledingo diyabuya sewathola ama monthly management accounts ayavela abuye siwewedele kuye longanga accountant general ukukhombisa lokuthi le misebenzi lena ihamba ngendlela yakhona.
The Office of the Accountant General submitted to the committee that it had already begun providing refresher courses to government accountants and more interventions will be made. Eswatini TV News, Temgosi Mavimbela with Mbongwa Dube, Parliament.
The government of the Kingdom of Eswatini has embarked on an exercise to reform service delivery and in particular ensuring better upkeep of all government property and investments. These require stronger collaboration with our stakeholders. As such, the nation is requested to assist in this endeavor and to become vigilant in identifying and reporting any issues of abuse of government property. Proper accountability in the usage of state property remains paramount.
Acting Minister of Public Works and Transport, Mangoba Khumalo, says government is grateful to members of the public who have been forthcoming with reports of continued misuse of government property. Khumalo says these reports are of serious concern and government strongly condemn any abuse of government property by any public servant, especially at a time when the country needs a well-maintained road network, buildings, functional vehicles, plant and machinery to effectively service the public. Acting Minister further says public servants are urged to refrain from abusing the already limited resources and rather utilize them for the work assigned and not prioritize private and personal activities. Khumalo then implored the respective agencies within government to take the necessary action against offenders and enhance control measures. To report any abuse of government property, the public is kindly requested to call 7606-2697 or 240-99004. This statement has been issued by the Acting Minister of Public Works and Transport, Mangoba Khumalo. Reporting for Eswatini TV News, Zoto Adlamini in Babane.
The chairperson of Philani Maswati charity organization, Lutho Dlamini, says the Donate a Can campaign will officially return for its third year this month. He says the food donated has a huge impact towards the elderly. Our reporter Lungelela Makakula has more on that story.
The Donate a Can campaign was established in October 2019. This campaign is one of many initiatives the organization does to help vulnerable elderly people in the country in collaboration with Spar stores. Philani Maswati chairperson Lutfo Dlamini says the campaign has returned for its third year. Therefore, he urges the Maswati to participate and make a difference. He says the campaign will be officially launched before the end of this month.
This year, we will be doing it with our participating partners, which was SPAR. As you know, they are based in Babane, Zulwini, Manzini, Mpaga, Stegi, and even Lavumisa and Shangat. But we noticed that other shops wanted to participate as well. So we are inviting them to also indicate they would like to support. And also we are inviting the public as they go shopping. Just remember, one can is just enough for us to use and help feed the elderly. One might want to know why we prefer cans. A can has a longer shelf life and it's easy to move around. So when the elderly have it, they can keep it for a longer time. Unlike maybe a vegetable that has a short shelf life. So we prefer the cans. It could be fish, it could be beans, it could be beef, it could be anything that is canned. It provides the nutrition that the elderly people will need. Particularly this time of COVID, I think it is very important that we plead with the nation to support us.
He says he hopes that this project is a success, as it seems the biggest Braai event won't be held even this year due to reports of a third wave of COVID-19. Reporting, I'm Lungile Makakula with Mbonga Dube in Babane.
The Elections and Boundaries Commission has met with candidates that have qualified on the primary elections for filling Bukopo, Induna Ngundla, and Member of Parliament positions in respective constituencies in the Shiselweni region. The head of Secretariat within the Elections and Boundaries Commission, Richard Pungayo, says the objective of the exercise is capacitating the candidates on the courts and conduct of campaigning.
Following the primary elections that were on the 5th of June, where under the Shiselweni 1 constituency, the people were voting for Member of Parliament candidates. Under the Matsanjeni South constituency, they were voting for Induna Ngundla candidates. The Elections and Boundaries Commission has met with the candidates that qualified for the secondary elections for a teaching exercise so that they campaign within the parameters of the guidelines and principles of the Elections Act. The Elections and Boundaries Commission Head of Secretariat Richard Pungayo says what they are emphasizing on is that the candidates shouldn't decampaign each other.
The Elections and Boundaries Commission, headed by Prince Mhlabhlangane, is here once again at the Shiselweni region on another exercise of capacitating our candidates who have stood up and won the primary elections for Member of Parliament and Induna Ngundla. The exercise is here to capacitate them on the campaign and competition itself, on how to compete with each other as they canvass for votes and as they campaign in the different Tinkundla centers or even in Ipagats where they are not known. This exercise is important because most of our MPs, we are using the individual merit as a pro for being elected. So which is why we need then to have an organized campaign where we introduce some of the members that have been elected in the other communities where they don't know them. More than anything else, the most important most part of the exercise is making sure that laws of the land are not gone against, and the playground is free for all candidates, so that they understand that decampaigning others is not part of what we expect here.
Pungayo says 7 candidates qualified in the primary elections at the Shiselweni 1 constituency, with which 6 are male and only 1 is female. 6 candidates qualified under the Matsanjeni South constituency, where 4 are males and 2 are females. For Eswatini TV News, I am Sifiso Ngumalo with Smova Shongwe, Hlangano.
Eswatini Church Forum on HIV and AIDS has met with government ministries where it was deliberated on how the two parties can collaborate government on the forum's community work. The Ministry of Public Service Principal Secretary Sipho Tshabetse says government appreciates the work done by the church in fighting pandemics like COVID-19 and HIV and AIDS, to name but a few.
The government ministries who met with Eswatini Church Forum includes the Ministry of Public Service and the Ministry of Home Affairs. The forum's national coordinator, Xolan Magongo, elaborated about the importance of the gathering.
Our role is to make sure that the playing ground is flat for everyone to play, and then all these people that are on the ground, they are receiving the support that they need. We are also looking for government to come forward to give us support, if they can give us a grant, if they can give us any resources that is going to help us to be able to do the work that we are doing as churches.
The Ministry of Public Service Principal Secretary Sipho Tshabetse was represented by the Undersecretary in the Ministry, Constance Vilagati, who applauds the work being done by the church.
We are also happy to advocate for the subvention of faith-based organizations in Eswatini, especially Eswatini Church Forum on HIV and AIDS. As a ministry, we believe better economy, better life, better education, and better health can be achieved when all sectors are included.
The Minister of Home Affairs Under Secretary Nkululeko Dlamini was represented by the Ministry's Principal Human Resources Officer Bekikaya Dlamini.
The forum was about ensuring that the coordination of the activities of the church towards fighting a pandemic such as the HIV and the newly arisen COVID-19 in such a way that they are aligned according to government policy and the way the national policy is structured, so that none of them would be seen to be going astray, if I may put it that way.
Some of the items discussed includes the work being done by the church in the country and how government can also assist where necessary. For Eswatini TV News, Fortune Dlangamandla with Msimisi Shaba Mbabane.
Welcome back. Now we take a look at news making headlines in the world of sport. The Ethics Committee in the Football Association says all those nominated for the upcoming Football Association have passed the eligibility test. Chairperson of the committee, Magistrate Eswatini Dlamini, who delivered the list of nominees, says the elections will be conducted using the Football Association statutes. Eswatini TV Sports, Patizom CB has more on that story.
The Ethics Committee in the Football Association announced that all those nominated to stand for elections in the Football Association have passed the eligibility test and are allowed to stand for the elections. Magistrate Eswatini Dlamini announced the official list of the nominees.
In respect of the presidential hopefuls, there is one Mr. Mashumi Shongwe, there is also Mr. Comfort Shongwe, and Mr. Peter Simelane. These are the only three nominees for the presidential position. In respect of the vice presidential position, which means we have to elect, in fact the delegates have to elect two vice presidents, because one is actually from the PLE. Ex officio, he becomes a vice president of the Executive Committee of the Eswatini Football Association. Those who were nominated are Sikumbuzo Dlamini, Peter Magagula, Johannes Siboza, Steve Horton, Mashumi Shongwe, Zakele Dlamini, Comfort Shongwe, and Ace Mashwama. However, we are reporting as a committee that in respect of the nomination from Lubombo, where Ace Mashwama was nominated to actually gun for the position of Vice President, Mr. Mashwama, in his own handwriting, and he submitted a letter to the Ethics Committee withdrawing his nomination.
The committee also added that only the presidential hopefuls will be allowed to campaign, and there will also be a day where all the presidential hopefuls will deliver their manifestos in front of the FA affiliates, which will be this coming Saturday. The committee also highlighted that bribery and corruption is strictly prohibited, and the elections will be conducted as per the statutes of the Football Association. The elections will be on the 27th of this month. Reporting for Eswatini TV Sports News, I am Patizom Sibi Mbabane.
Eswatini TV viewers will be pleased to know that the TV channel will be broadcasting this year's Euros 2020 live. The Public Relations Officer Nompumelelo Dlamini says the games will also be shown live on the channel's new phone application.
Eswatini TV would like to inform its lovely viewers that we will be bringing the Euro 2020 tournament to you live as of the 11th of June to the 11th of July. And the good thing is you don't necessarily have to rush home to catch it on your traditional TV set, as you can download the Eswatini TV app, which will also be bringing the Euro 2020 games to you live. This is one you would not want to miss, as we will have big teams like France, Portugal, Germany, and England. Now, if you have not downloaded the Eswatini TV app, this is your chance to do so, since you can catch the games live.
Well, with those sports news, it brings us to the conclusion of our news bulletin at 8 here at Eswatini TV. But before we go, here's a quick reminder of your top stories tonight. His Majesty King Eswatini III has implored the regiments to be rooted in respect at all times.
The acting Prime Minister has received a special message for His Majesty King Mswati III from DRC President Felix Tshisekedi, and the Copyright Act of 2020 will be operationalized soon.
Beautiful Kingdom of Eswatini, and that brings us to the end of our news bulletin at 8 here at Eswatini TV. Thank you so much for choosing to stay with us. We shall cross over to the Weather Center for a detailed weather report from us and the rest of the transmission crew at Eswatini TV. For now, it's good night and God bless.